right, we are back. Welcome back to Showfest. I am Kate, but more importantly, we are here with the creator of Reliqua, who is going to be interviewed by the lovely Snook and Amanda Grow. Let's take it away. Hi there.
Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you both. It's great to see you too.
Very nice to meet you. I just wanted to start by saying I love the concept of this game.
Thank you so much.
I thought the idea of having a mystery involving a self-driving car, you go into some of the .com tech mysteries. I mean, the potential of where the story could go, as a full experience is just unlimited. And it's also, I can't think of anyone else that's done something like that. So I thought it was super cool. I just wanted to start with that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then anybody who's joining late, I'm Amanda Grow. I'm the producer with Dungeons & Dragons Online. And
oh, yes, and my name is Jerry. Cordovan is my kind of forum and internet name, and I'm the community manager for Standing Stone Games. Yeah.
And my name is McKenna Gameros, and I'm the creator of Reliqua.
so this is always where I land when I look at a game concept, which is just, where did the idea come to you from?
So I met with my advisor probably the first or second term of my master's degree, and he was really interested in ethics, and specifically when it comes to robotics and sort of that intersection between ethics and design, sort of. And I have a background in computer engineering. My bachelor's degree is in computer engineering. And I had taken ethics classes before we're kind of required to do that. And they were so boring. And I was like, coming into this gaming degree and coming into this master's degree, I was like, wait, I get to play games for like my classes? This is amazing. And so I sort of was talking to my professor about this, and he had wanted to create a game about robot ethics specifically. And I was like, this is a really good way to get college students to actually like pay attention in these ethics classes and actually understand what they're learning. So that's where it started. And it sort of evolved from there. Just I sort of iterated a couple of times. I had a couple of different ideas. Reliqua started as a visual novel, and it was going to be like a kind of Doki Doki or like even Phoenix Wright style game. And then I thought about it more, and actually I'm teaching a storytelling class this semester, and we talked about nonlinear storytelling, and I was like, what if I went nonlinear with this? What if I like made it so you could like collect the evidence whatever way you wanted, and then just had some story beats from there that continued the game forward. And that's just sort of where it landed.
So where did you land on the idea of being specifically a crash scene investigator? Because that's the sort of every person angle that brings you into the scenario in a way that, we've had dystopian tech company movies and films and all that, but I'm not sure we've really had someone at the sort of I've got the measuring tape out kind of level of crash scene investigation. I just thought that was particularly cool. So how did that one come about?
Well, actually, I started with the player was going to be an engineer at Reliqua, the company itself. And one of their coworkers was going to be the victim of the crash. So they were going to be the person sort of as a liaison to the police. But when I was doing this like readjusting to this nonlinear thing, I was looking at it and I was going, I don't really see how this could work properly. And Ben Schneider, one of the professors here, always talks about the ignorant player problem, where you're a player coming into this world. How do you figure out what the heck is going on in this world? So I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, this is a good way to both solve that ignorant player problem and also like give the player a reason to be investigating this in the first place. So that's sort of where it came from, and also it made it so that I didn't have to write like all of this like background stuff of like, oh, the player is having a normal day with coworkers and figuring this out, and that would have taken so much longer to develop, and it was nice to just like start from the crash and just go from there, and not have to worry about all that background stuff.
And we deal with this a lot in each of our games, which is when you're trying to have the player gather up these pieces of story information that they then need to assemble into the big picture. What did you find to be the biggest challenges of trying to help breadcrumb the user to where you want them to go, but without completely giving away like the whole mystery?
It did take a little bit of work for me to figure out like where each piece would go, sort of. And eventually I do want this game to also have like a puzzle aspect where you collect the evidence and then you have like, Donald used to call it a murder board, where you collect the evidence and then you just place it in wherever it is and then solve the puzzle in sort of a tactile way as well. But for now, I just sort of had to make it sort of like a branching narrative and sort of once everything is collected in certain ways, then and I just sort of like went from like, oh, we have one of the victims' cell phones that fell. So not only is that like in the crash site, but also you go to the hospital and the girl just goes, oh, if only I had my cell phone here. Maybe it fell. The paramedics told me I didn't have one when they brought me in, so I don't know. So like this idea of like just sort of poking the player a little bit in like if only we had the logs, that would work, or if only I had my cell phone, and then like, but not like saying outright, I need my cell phone, or like, you need this. Yeah, exactly. And I did notice when players were testing it today, there were a couple of people who said that they still didn't entirely know what to do with a couple of places. So I might need to go back and adjust that a little bit so it's a little bit more clear. Like, oh, you've collected all the evidence you need in this area, now you can go to another place, or that sort of thing. Or like, go back to the hospital, you have a piece of evidence that you need for this.
As you've watched people playing through it, have you ever hit a moment where they did a behavior that you were like just not ever expecting someone to do, and then what did you do in reaction to it?
Yeah, one of my students actually came in and was exploring around the police station. There's nothing to do in the police station except talk to the chief. And she was like clicking on everything, and I'm like, no, there's nothing there.
See, I've been trained by adventure games. I was looking for the computers. I was like, clearly I've got one of these computers that's going to have a thing on it.
There was actually an Easter egg in the crash site. And my student, through like hitting every wall and doing all of that, was able to find the Easter egg. And she's the only person that I know of that has found it. Yeah.
So it's a shorter, self-contained story. Clearly it could go as like the first chapter of a much longer narrative or something like that. Do you have plans for this in the future?
It would be cool, definitely. My plan was sort of to make this a fairly short thing that you can do in one sitting, that an engineer can sort of go and play and understand these ideas a little bit better, of like that we have gaps in our knowledge when we're designing things, and we need to fill those either through like having coworkers that understand these things, or through doing the research and all of that. And also the secondary idea of need to communicate with each other. I, especially in my generation, have found that like we worry a lot about people judging us. My generation does, and we have like I've had a couple of times where I'm like, oh gosh, I need more time, or like I need this, but I'm really scared that my manager is gonna hate me for this. Oh gosh. And then in this scenario, that actually causes a lot of problems. And so the secondary sort of communication here is communication. You need to communicate with each other as best as you can.
Great.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed your work, and
thank you so much.
Really glad that everyone was able to come out and actually see each other in like the three-dimensional space.
Yeah,
for a change. But I think we're out of time, so it's really great chatting with you.
It was great talking to you too.